We all have convictions. For some of us, it's what we want to become in life, a profession or a title that we want to achieve. For some, it's the experiences that we want to have, skydiving, trying exotic foods, going to new countries. For some, it's what we want to inspire in the world, to be a source of goodness or generosity or truth, to inspire others to embody those as well. But what are we willing to give up for it? Would we be willing to give up our homes? What about our safety or our dignity? Today, I'll be talking about someone who gave up all of those things for the entirety of their life. The understanding of this man's history, his philosophy, and the profound effect that he's had on people throughout the generations will give us a lesson in dedication. Today, I'm going to be speaking about Diogenes the Cynic. Luis Nevia, in his title work, Diogenes of Sinope, The Man in the Tub, says that most likely Diogenes was born in 413 BCE and died in 323 BCE. He was the son of a banker, and he was exiled from his home of Sinope for defacing the currency. After he fled from that place in exile, he went to Athens. There he met a man named Antisthenes, and Antisthenes taught him everything that he knew about a philosophy that he had created called Cynicism. After he left there on a boat, he was heading towards an island called Aegina. He never made it to Aegina, though. He was abducted by pirates, the whole ship, and sold into slavery, where he eventually made his way to Corinth. And he lived in Corinth long into his death at the age of 90. All through his life, he held to Cynic values, the things that Antisthenes had taught him. Diogenes Laertius, a man who lived 500 years later and was named after him, wrote in his Lives of the Eminent Philosophers about the Cynics' code. They despised wealth and fame and nobility. They believed in speaking freely and honestly, always, even to one's detriment, even under threat of execution. When asked what was the most beautiful thing in the world, Diogenes said, freedom of speech. We see examples of these values in his life. Diogenes' conviction to voluntary poverty was extreme. He lived in a large vase, about the size of a large wine barrel. It was called a pythos. He wore simple clothes, only what he needed to get by, only enough to stave off the cold of the winter. And he ate and drank only what was given to him or what he could find. Though the Cynic is not necessarily known for his poverty alone. I think a lot more people know him for the ways that he treated his freedom of speech. He treated it without exception, at times dangerously so. Luis Nevia said of him that nowhere do the sources report that he ever said anything positive or complimentary about anyone. Muntahab Siwan al-Hikmah said, when Diogenes asked if it was true that he hated all people, he replied that he hated evil people for their depravity, and he hated good people for their silence in the presence of depravity. Ibn Hindu said, once Diogenes saw a law official beating a thief, and he immediately shouted, wonder of wonders, a thief that steals in public is disciplining a thief that steals in secret. But if Diogenes was such a poor and ill-mannered person, why do we remember him? His dedication to his teachings, more than his teachings themselves, are, I believe, what has immortalized him. Neviah at times Neviah said that at times he was referred to by early fathers of the church as a faint and imperfect prelude of the example and teachings of Jesus Christ. Laertius said that in Corinth, where he died, they built him a statue. On it was inscribed, "Even bronze grows old with time. But your fame, Diogenes, not all eternity shall take away." So he lived a life of unassuming poverty. He had strange and questionable beliefs which were at times a hindrance to a pleasant existence. But in spite of that, we remember him 2,500 years later because of his conviction and its profound effect on those who read the stories of him. And so we should remember that conviction, even above our beliefs, is what is crucial in our lives.